I'm gonna steal your sunshine and I'll shit on your parade. Don't get me started on doing Michael Caine. My opinion matters, yours will fall in last place. I'm not shutting up and you'll be learning my name. Fifth in the family, but first in my mind. 1 out of 10, but I'm ranking just fine. We've only got now, there's no afterlife. Look, Mom and Dad, I'm just speaking my mind. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everyone's coming on Kyle tonight. Wait, what? No, nobody's coming on Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drinks while I read and cry. I never shoot up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drinks while I read and cry. I never should have. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die.
All right. Hey, everybody. We are live here with Season 3, Episode 18 of Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up. If you're joining us live here on YouTube or watching in the future on YouTube, thank you for joining us. And if you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, in the future, we always say just tune in on YouTube. It's way more enjoyable for you, way more interactive. We got the chat up here so you can jump in and chit-chat along with us as we go throughout the show. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Justin Olenpato in the upstairs chair up there in the air. Hi. Hi. How you doing? Doing all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
It's a good day so far. You had to work.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks, but...
Yeah, I was out early, though.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We got to film that really awesome intro where we just happened to catch a cyclist right at the end of it.
So random.
Perfectly.
So fucking
it's like
random.
we told him to be there.
Yeah.
He was probably coming up for a while just going like, what the fuck are these idiots doing? You're just filming a guy checking his mail?
Yep.
Real fucking funny.
Funny,
That's
dude.
Hilarious. All right, so Justin's here, and also we're always joined by Mr. Zachary.
Guess I didn't need to lick my finger.
Well, Zachary, guess I didn't need to lick my finger. Stormin'. Alrighty, we are also having a couple guests in the house that we're going to be getting to a little bit later on. We are joined by Anna and Marissa from the podcast But What Do We Know? You can hear them right now, but you're not going to be able to see them, so welcome. Anna, thank you for joining us. Welcome, Marissa. Feel free to talk as much as you'd like or as little as you'd like.
Try and get Kyle to stop talking.
That's kind of the name of the game here. So this weekend, before we get into the first thing we got to talk about, we got a special video presentation for you. This weekend, I had a Halloween party at the house. You guys didn't show up because I didn't invite you. But we had a Halloween party at my house. A little bit of an asshole.
Fucked up, dude.
We have great costumes prepared for us.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, you do?
We did.
Damn it.
Yeah,
Not
damn it.
anymore.
Specifically for this party, but you missed
Jesus
it.
Christ, I'm fucked up again. All right.
Way to go, dude.
Well, we had the party on Friday, then I had work very early Saturday, and then a work party on Saturday night. So in 24 hours, I had 3 costume changes because I don't like to.
Beyonce.
Yeah, seriously, Beyonce level over here. The first one was Santa Baby. You know the song Santa Baby? The girl wears like a seductive dress.
To seduce a baby.
Yeah. So what I did was I did Santa hat, Santa white beard, white hair, big red rosy cheeks, and then I wore a diaper and a white T-shirt, and I was Santa Baby. And
It was a good costume.
for about 2 hours until the diaper ripped while playing beer pong and it became a skirt. So then it was just Santa
filled
Baby.
it full of shit.
I filled it with not literal shit. I should have done that. Everyone kept yelling at me for not having a candy bar in there. They're like, you should have just put a candy bar down there, and it just slowly would have, you know.
No, I wanted you to actually poop your pants.
Well, if I had worn a real diaper, that was the dilemma in my head. If I wear a real diaper and really commit, everyone's gonna be like really egging me on to shit.
I mean,
Helen
says,
"Oh,
it
next
depends."
party.
Next party, everybody.
Diapers only.
It depends party. Yeah,
Diaper
party. Yeah.
No, Zach's
not
gonna step
having
up
it
the
here.
game where he wears the clear diaper and just shits in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
that was the old joke I used to tell a
Yeah,
lot.
you and Cameo.
You have a clear diaper.
The funniest thing you can do in the world is you make a clear diaper out of saran wrap and you go in a bar and shit yourself. But the key is you do it 2 nights in a row. That's what makes it the funniest thing ever.
That's what separates
Once is all right. Twice in a row.
Yeah.
You're king.
Yeah, it was well, the party was a success, but I have to say the 2 biggest highlights of the party.
Fasano? You were saying.
Yeah, Fasano. Yes. I was in bed by that point. The 2 MVPs, me and my roommate were talking about this. Nicole, our friend Richard's lovely fiance Nicole, she made this really good taco dip that was just phenomenal, and you can't really go wrong with taco dip. Yeah. But then my buddy Jeff, who has always described himself to me, or not always, he did this once, and this is now how I describe him to everybody. He is a reformed teenage glue sniffer. He graduated high school in like the early 80s, and he's just fucking, he's wonderful and all over the place. But he showed up to the party dressed as Freddie Mercury, the, armband and everything, but holding a Crave case from White Castle over his head. So he won the party by bringing a Crave case. And I'm an idiot, and the day before I saw him, and he said very clearly, I'm going to get a Crave case from White Castle on my way home from work. And I thought he said, I'm going to get a great case of White Claw on my way home from work. And I was just kind of like, all right, let's just, I was like, maybe we get some pumpkin spice White Claw now. Maybe it'll be different. It'll be a little bit weird, but I would say that. So big shout out to anybody who brings food to any party, and if you really want to impress people, just show up with the fucking Crave case.
I missed them.
You missed them.
I didn't have
even
any
know
of
it was
them
there.
either. I
had
no
at
idea.
least 4 of them. And
40 of them. You had
40
all of them.
I had all.
I didn't even
I
know
had
they
the whole
were there.
Crave case, and then I went out and got more and came back, and then threw the others away, so none of you could have that shit.
That's fucked up, dude.
Wow.
I'm a pretty fucked up individual.
I'm glad that we didn't go to this party.
Yeah, you would have just been. I just like to insult people at my parties. Now we do have a special video, as I was alluding to earlier. Justin, do you want to set this up a little bit? Explain to people. He does a good job in the video explaining what the video is about.
All right, so the video we're going to show is
well,
it's just one Kurt. If you've been to Floods, you know who Kurt is. He's a doorman. He does other things.
And he goes by just one.
Just
Kurt.
one Kurt.
Maybe he's more famous on Instagram than Floods by now, though.
Maybe,
probably.
They did do a couple.
They
of
do him and
already.
Newman, who's also another employee at Floods and other places around town. Which, by the way, Newman, when his mom showed up at your party, was the most hysterical thing in the world.
I found out about that the next day. One of his buddies just was yakking everywhere, so they had it, and he was the one that drove. So they had to get this kid had to get his mom to come and pick him and his friend up. And I'm like, I'm 33 having a fucking party at my house, and somebody's mom had to pick him up.
Yeah, I remember Dan looking at me, and he's just like, or was it Mike? Who was that?
Dan. Yeah.
And he's like, is that kid 21? And I'm like, I hope so. I hope so.
Mom
just admitted to a crime.
Yeah. No, we admitted
we
to
didn't
possibly unknowing.
That's
You didn't?
Then it's not a crime.
Now while he was away.
What the fuck? So,
but anyway, so
Newman,
they pull these stunts, and it started off as a Facebook/Instagram thing where if Newman got enough likes, he was going to rainbow his hair.
And he did that.
And he did it. And then the other one was if Kurt got enough likes on the next post that he would get a tattoo of Newman's signature.
Yes.
In a box.
Which his signature, I will say, is like very Jim Davis, Garfield. Like it's all
Yeah,
capitals,
it's very cartoony.
like very
Pretty
cartoony.
good.
I like
Yeah.
it. I do like it. So he did that, and then he wound up getting a tramp stamp.
Yeah,
because
there was a vote on it. Yeah. Everybody that was involved, and now Kurt has another video concoction with Newman. And
they're not putting it out just yet. They're not putting it out just yet.
The whole point of this video is to raise likes on the video, but then there's also something that he gets into midway through.
All right.
And it's talking, I guess there's a YouTuber named Mr. Beast who ended up getting 20 million viewers. And Reddit was on his shit about planting 20 million trees.
All right, well, why
so they're trying to do that. So
hell yeah, let's jump into the video
Kurt's
here.
gonna plant some trees.
Kurt's gonna plant some trees. He's only got $20 in
What's
his
up?
pocket.
Just One Kurt coming at you. Chop Newman got Skittle hair. I got a Chop Newman tramp stamp, and a lot of you have been asking, hey Kurt, what's next? Well, today's the day you no longer need to ask. I have a really, really ridiculous video, hot and off the press, ready to drop, and just like Newman's hair and my tramp stamp, making it happen will only be because of you. But we'll get to that in a minute. Recently, the YouTuber Mr. Beast reached 20 million subscribers, and to celebrate, someone suggested that he plant 20 million trees. It went super viral on Reddit and Twitter, at which point someone suggested he should team up with a bunch of YouTubers, including Mark Rober, to make it happen. If you don't know Mark Rober, he has an extensive background in engineering and even helped design the Mars rover. 20 million trees by 2020 seems nearly impossible, which is why Mark has teamed up with a company by the name of Drone Siege, which uses these massive drones to plant trees in places almost impossible to reach by humans, by dropping a sort of puck with seeds and fertilizer to help the tree start growing. Each tree costs just $1, which means $20 million is needed in order to make this a reality. Go to teamtrees.org to make a donation and plant trees. At the time of the recording of this video, there have been 3.9 million trees planted in addition to the 20 that I have planted and the 50,000 Mark Rober has planted. I'll leave a link to teamtrees.org in the description along with Mark Rober's video. Head over to Team Trees, plant some trees, watch Mark Rober's video, and while you're there, subscribe to his channel. Back to my next video being dropped. If this video right here gets 5,000 views, I'll drop my ridiculous video. Be sure to share this video with everyone you know and put a like on my Just One Kurt Facebook page where the video will be dropped. 20 million trees doesn't need a miracle, but it does need you. As always, I am just one.
Yeah. All right, so there you go.
Just
yeah.
One Kurt. What is Helen saying there?
Yeah, but eagles have been stealing drones.
Oh my
Grow hemp,
god.
save a tree.
They really should be fucking Helen, the MVP of the comments as always. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, go check that out. Just One Kurt on Facebook. Share the video, get it up to 5,000 likes, and then we'll get to see the newest crazy stunt that these friends of ours. Yeah. We can call them friends of ours, right?
Friends of ours,
these
yeah.
friends of
You
ours.
can call them friends of ours.
All right. These friends of Zach's.
Apparently there's the videos of eagles stealing drones.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's awesome.
Nature taking it back. Fuck yeah, as it should be.
But does it really take it back if they're stealing seeds?
Oh, no. Well, if they eat the seeds and they probably poop out the seeds, and that's better fertilizer there,
I guess
you know.
that's true. I'm just,
they could go that
Holy
way.
shit.
Yeah.
Just being
What do we
devil's
got?
advocate.
What's the holy shitting about?
Is this eagles stealing drones?
Did you
The eagles stealing some
Oh,
fucking drones. Dude.
yes.
They're literally just snatching them out of the fucking sky.
They probably think they can eat them.
Or that they gotta fight them. They just have to destroy
Probably,
them.
dude.
We have to,
Swoop, swoop.
we have to get like
Get it,
Gandalf
motherfucker.
on this shit.
Oh my god. Oh, he's dive bombing at him. Jesus Christ. Now go for the plane. Go for the plane. Go for the plane.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah, he's got one. He got one. Look at that. Oh, good for the little
now
guy.
It's fucked up.
Good for
All
them.
right.
Good for them.
All right, and every week, because the three of us are who the three of us are, we like to drink beer.
Yeah.
And this week is no exception. So, Justin, I think it's time that we try a new beverage.
Yeah.
Which one are we drinking?
We're drinking brains. Yeah. What are we drinking? We're drinking brains. All right. So the beverage tonight, as we already said, is brains. 3 A's, 2 I's. It's a pumpkin ale for zombies.
For zombies.
Is
I don't exactly know what the fuck that
7.8%
means.
alcohol, and it's from Springhouse Brewing Company.
Is it sour?
Out of Zach's favorite Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Fuck the Amish.
Fuck them right in their buggy. Right in their buggy. All right. So cracking these open. Little smell. Oh, it's definitely got. I get the pumpkin spice. A little more of the spice. This might be not my favorite. I'm not a big pumpkin fan, and this last month or so.
This smells a lot like pumpkin.
This is actually
I've been
very
warming
light.
up to it. All right.
Super light.
So let's go with this ale. Give
You're
this
gonna
a
like
sipper.
this, Kyle. I think.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
I
Probably
do
the
like
smoothest
that.
pumpkin that I've had so
Oh,
far.
that is good.
Good
Now,
mouthfeel, smooth.
mouthfeel.
Good mouth.
Yeah.
It's the best way to describe anything. I like mouthfeel, and it's very drinkable. It's a very drinkable beverage.
I
It
feel
doesn't
like they went
you're
more
eating.
nutmeg than allspice in this.
Okay.
Agreed.
I'm
think
still
that's- I think
confused as
that's
to what
what,
allspice is, but we'll get to that
It's
later in
all
my
the
life.
spice.
That's what I think it is.
No, it's not. It's
It's pepper.
It is like
It's-
we
nutmeg.
went through this
It's
once.
like nutmeg.
It's paprika, right?
Paprika,
It's
garlic.
everything.
nutmeg.
Garlic.
No.
Yep. Pretty sure that she's right. I don't think she's wrong here.
Salt. Pepper.
All right, so I mean, hey, if you like pumpkin beer and you don't want a porter or a stout or anything like that, or nothing too hoppy, this is definitely a good way to go. I will say that the spices immediately I can feel it in my stomach, and I'm probably not going to finish this one, but it isn't.
It's
It isn't
weird that
bad.
it's
It is
called
not
brains,
bad.
though.
Brain.
I want to know the backstory behind
because it's
that.
for zombies, and zombies eat brains.
Yeah, I
Do
guess.
they eat pumpkin?
They pumpkin brains.
They
Zombie
smash
pumpkin?
their
Yeah.
heads like pumpkins.
They do. They do.
You ever
Fair
see a
enough.
horse eat a pumpkin?
No.
Did you ever see a pig eat a pumpkin?
Is
No,
that-
but I bet it's better than a horse.
It's so nice.
Oh, it sounds great.
So I'm just imagining the horse's like lips going up and it's
Yeah,
like,
but dude, you ever see a horse eat a pig?
no. Let's go to that video next. Horse eats pig.
No, it's gonna get down to where we've gotten before. You ever see what two rhinos having sex looks like?
we have. We've unfortunately.
Hold on. We all
watched-
know the ultimate on that. It's some girl
It's-
jerking off a horse or some
No,
stupid
cleaning.
Oh,
It's
clean-
animal
yes,
husbandry.
cleaning.
Animal husbandry.
Yes,
She was
okay.
cleaning the
Cleaning the horse.
genitalia.
What about the guy that had sex with the horse?
He died.
Ooh.
They died.
Did he get
Died.
split in half? 'Cause
He got
I would assume
his
that you would
like
get
things
split.
came out. His
Yeah.
organs came out.
Yeah,
It's
he
on
was
YouTube.
disemboweled
That's
I don't know if
fucking
it's on
crazy.
YouTube anymore.
It was
That's
on
back in the
YouTube,
day
like-
when YouTube didn't censor anything.
Oh my god.
You know about
The
that
full
guy
video.
that fucks the dolphins? He gives them acid.
I don't want to
What?
hear
What?
Dolphins fucking.
He's
They're already too smart. They're
dude,
already
he's-
too smart.
What did I heard about
They
it
don't need to be
on some
self-aware.
podcast. He was like a scientist. He's dead now. He was like a big marine
From what?
biologist, a
Dolphins?
scientist.
Aren't dolphins rapists?
Yes, dolphins do rape.
Dolphins
So the
like the
dolphins fuck
fuck.
him.
And they have a dick that like holds on to the woman dolphin.
I don't know if he was fucking the
It
male
like
or
goes
the
in,
female.
and I think it's like
fingering him in the
biologically
hole.
because they're in the water and they can get separated. So I think it goes in and like kind of hooks up
That's
a
kinda
little
nice,
bit.
though.
It hooks so they're there.
I won't let you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I'll never let you go. We all know how that ended. She let him go. So the dolphins are like, nope, our dicks are not letting go
Can
here.
you imagine having sex and
No.
like just you go to leave, you're like, oh,
And he's like, we're gonna be here for a little longer. I don't care what you have to say. Yeah, they're rapists. That's basically we're describing a rapist for sure.
Fucking dolphins.
But they like
just
doing
sucked
acid and fucking.
They like doing acid.
They love dropping acid.
yeah, he
they're
was
always
like
at.
acid.
They're
Because he
always.
Dolphin
wanted
have
to
to take.
communicate with the dolphins.
So
So,
do you
he gave
think-
him acid to talk to him, and then he realized that all they want to do is fuck.
I would have assumed that the dolphins did their acid for the first time at a fish concert.
Hold on a second.
We're gonna get a
on
boo.
that one. Jesus.
All right, good. Well, hey, while you got the booze already, let's jump right into this week's jokes and anecdotes. Anecdotes. I can't even say that word. I never tell anecdotes. I never. It's just jokes. I just really like the theme song there.
I don't even know what an anecdote is.
Every week we tell him, and every week he forgets. Alrighty, so this week, extreme winds in Northern California spread wildfire throughout the Santa Rosa area, forcing over 200,000 people to be evacuated from their homes and businesses. Wine country has been hit with a handful of large wildfires over the last decade, so one thing is for sure, house Pinot Grigio prices are going up. Yeah. That's
they
all
don't
I
get
think.
better from there.
They don't. They don't.
They really
That
don't.
one-
All right. A cancer patient in North Carolina, already off to a good
boy.
start.
Oh, it's hilarious.
A
Hold on,
cancer
let me get this
patient
ready.
in North
Don't
Carolina
start it off, dude.
was given a nice surprise when a lottery ticket he purchased on the way to his last chemo treatment proved to be a big winner. The man, named Ronnie Foster, won $141,000 after taxes, and he is very excited to see it all go to pay for 1/10 of his hospital bills.
That's a sad joke.
It's sad and
Yeah,
true.
that's
Was
not
it his
reality.
last chemo because he's dying?
No, I think it's like the last one because they think they
got it.
really didn't go into that. I'm just assuming.
Making sure.
Yeah.
You gotta
But either way, you got 141 grand.
Hey, you never know which chemo was your last chemo.
You never knew. I haven't had my first yet. All right, Louis Vuitton announced plans to buy jewelry giant Tiffany's for an estimated $14.5 billion. You can read more about this and other stories in the latest edition of Completely Out of Touch magazine. I had other ideas for the name of the magazine, so it was either going to be Completely Out of Touch magazine or in the latest edition of Rich Asshole Weekly. All right, Holy Shit I'm Poor magazine, or Who Cares About Starving Children Monthly. I think those are all good. I think those are all real magazines.
I get
Yeah.
these 2 kids who are starving children monthly.
All right, well,
Every month.
Every month.
The man.
And finally, Supernatural star Jared Padalecki was arrested in Austin this weekend after punching a bartender at a club that he may or may not be an owner of. It's kind of a murky situation.
Yeah.
The
How
brawl.
does he not know?
The reporters didn't know. People assume he's the owner because he's there all the time, but he might
May or
just be
may
drunk.
not be my pants,
Yeah.
but I'm wearing them.
The brawl, exactly. The brawl moved outside, and when the police arrived, the TV actor was seen flashing a wad of cash at the arresting officers. You can read more about this and other stories in the latest edition of Completely Out of Touch magazine. Yeah, built up to it on that one.
One day
Yeah.
you just could learn to tell a joke.
No, I don't want to do that. I want to write them for me to not tell them. Now, we're not doing a trivia time this week, but I did want to bring up that tomorrow at the Cinder in East Stroudsburg, I'm going to be trying out a new version of trivia that I am calling Trivia Bar Brawl. It's a trivia free-for-all starting at 7:30. The way it's going to work...
Make sure you buy bottles.
Yes. Not cans. Bottles make a better shiv.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a free-for-all, and it's free to play as well. It's a tournament where anybody can play, meaning anyone can win. Players are going to compete on an individual basis for points by correctly answering trivia questions quicker than their opponents. So I'm going to have a big scoreboard. I'm going to ask a question without any multiple choice, and they have to come up to me with the answer before anybody else. And if nobody can get it, then I'll give multiple choice, and it'll just be worth a little bit less. You are allowed to work with others on this, but whoever answers the question gets the actual points. And the last round is going to be my true-false category I call no shit bullshit, and it's going to be a lightning round, face-to-face. We're
So
trying
I
to
actually
switch
thought
it
it
up.
was a trivia bar crawl.
Oh, no. Bar brawl. Bar
I
brawl.
don't know, man. I think you should do a trivia bar
crawl
crawl.
would work pretty well too. So that's going to be tomorrow. We're going to be trying that out. So if you're interested in a nice night of trivia, come on down for that. And very excited about this next thing. We are having officially now our Halloween band every year for the last 2 years. And we're going to keep them going as long as they keep making music. We are going to be playing you a song from Chesty Malone and the Slice 'Em Ups, a wonderful kind of like a horror punk band out of New York City. The song that we're going to be hearing is called Destroy All Humans. It's coming off their 7-inch EP of the same name that's going to be released on the in December of this year, and it's going to be released on 1332 Records, so it's actually going to be printed on wax and everything 7-inch. This Saturday, if you're in New York, go check out Arlene's Grocery on the Lower East Side. They're going to be playing with Blackout Shoppers, Scum City, and World War IX. And you can find them on... Yeah. There's a couple of them.
I remember World War 7, but...
8. I didn't know that
guys are
happened.
getting fucking better all the time.
All right, so you can find them on Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify. Just look up Chesty Malone and the Slice 'Em Ups. Again, this chick's got one of the most brutal voices that I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's like a harder Joan Jett.
Yeah, it's like Joan Jett was
pretty
hanging
rad.
out with the dolphin guy and got some advice from him. And what
Yeah,
the
dude, I
acid
fucked
said.
Joan Jett while doing acid with dolphins.
Would you fuck a dolphin that had already fucked Joan Jett and she was not going to be in the room? Just to get that like degree of separation? You're like, yo, we're Eskimo cousins. Me and Joan Jett, we fucked that same dolphin. We both fucked that dolphin.
Yeah, I do that.
I think in that situation, that dolphin fucked both of you. All right, so again, we're going to play you here.
Dolphins are big, man. You gotta think about fighting a dolphin.
That thing's not letting go till it's done.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to play Chesty Malone and the Slice 'em Ups, Destroy All Humans. We'll be back in about 4 minutes. Enjoy the song. Alrighty, there you have it. Destroy All Humans from Chesty Malone and the Slice 'em Ups. One thing I really like about the end of the song there is you're waiting for that, like, dan, dan, and it's just a nice dan. Nice, just a stain on it. Makes me really want... It's some stain on it. Yeah, no, sustain. It's like an onomatopoeia almost when you do that.
Wow.
Yeah. It works.
Sacagawea Pocahontas.
Exactly. That's what all
Are
those
you guys
words
getting
mean.
into the other
They
beer right
mean
now?
the same thing. I have
No,
not.
but I'm in. I'll do whatever you want.
All right, so let's jump in before we start talking about this week's song. Let's jump into the Guns and Rosé. This is Justin's purchase this week. It's an ale with hibiscus and prickly pear. I feel like I've actually had this before.
On top, it does say "When in doubt, pinky out."
Well,
out.
my pinky's generally out most of the time. It's not because I'm fancy. It's just because that just adds to your
smells
balance.
like makeup,
Oh my god, it kind of does.
right? Like eyeshadow.
Yeah.
Like that you like your mom would have
Or
in a
me.
drawer.
How dare you?
Anna,
Super light as well.
Is this made by Avon?
Oh my god, it's perfume.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
That is.
It's from Bath and Body Works.
The prickly pear side of it really comes through. Again, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish all of this. This one
I don't
may
know
be
if I
more
would
than
drink
the
another
pumpkin.
one right after.
No, this is like a, hey, give me something weird, they give it to you, and you're like, yeah, you gave me something weird.
Exactly.
You definitely did.
I just have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Because we're both females. Did you pick pumpkin spice and rosé on
How
purpose?
sexist.
No.
We have been
It
drinking
feels
pumpkin
like
for
it.
No, I'm the
most.
pumpkin spice bitch.
She's the pumpkin
I,
spice
really
bitch.
I like
am.
both of these things.
I mean,
I
we love them
was
both,
asking.
but
Realistically, we
say-
just try and find weird shit.
And I had asked both of you what you like to drink, and Anna had replied that she didn't like stouts or IPAs. So we were trying to
So we're
get
staying away
pumpkin
from that.
away from
Okay.
stout and away from IPA, and we've kind of done it. We did another ale in the past. I like the other one a little bit better. I forget what it was called. But no, we didn't do that. If we had been really catering to you,
wine.
no, there was a Chardonnay barrel aged beer, and we were just
Oh,
like,
we have
yeah.
a bad story about Chardonnay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not good with shark. We got
So
fucking
thank God we didn't
Alright.
placate to them at all about that.
I mean, I will say
Fuck
though, this is a
Chardonnay,
good
you
Oscar
already
Blues
here.
beer, though.
Yeah, it is
It's-
Oscar Blues.
It's a good Oscar Blues. Beer.
I generally like all Oscar Blues that I've had.
I like.
Where's this place from? Where? what state?
Oscar Blues,
Texas,
is it Texas?
some weird
Or
shit
no,
like that.
or
Yeah,
Colorado.
Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Austin,
okay.
Texas.
Oh,
Well, at least it's bottled there.
It's got a little bit of a body spray taste.
It's,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
If
when
you,
you-
it feels like you sipped something as an old lady walked by you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
And you're
very
just
good
like,
description.
Huh.
Not very good mouthfeel.
Not a good mouthfeel.
No.
It feels like you licked the old lady.
And
that
you know
walked
what?
by.
It's not.
Mouthfeel.
It's not very drinkable. You did a body shot off of a 80-year-old broad. That's what that tastes like.
God.
So now who's gonna mix the pumpkin and this and drink it together?
I mean, I'm gonna do it in my mouth right
There you
now.
go.
I guess.
Yeah.
I
Fuck it,
already
I'll do
drank
it.
my pumpkin.
Ugh.
You're gross.
Blech.
Ew.
Oh, so it
It's
tastes
actually
like
fine.
you
Tastes
hooked
like
up with an
pumpkin.
old lady in a pumpkin patch. It's definitely what that tastes like. And speaking of hooking up with old ladies in pumpkin patches, we wrote another song this
did.
week.
We
Natural
did.
transition. Zach, why don't you jump into a little bit about what you're listening to? I know it's been kind of a lot of the same lately,
Well,
but this
this
week
is
you had
the
a very
end.
specific. This is the end of Death Pop for the fall. We've been writing all pop formatted songs. We've been generally writing more of the death metal feel, the heavier side of things. But we're going to take 2 weeks off after this and come back and start writing Christmas music.
So we do have
Yes.
one more death metal song to write, and
I like
that
that
will
reaction.
be Christmas.
Yo, we
Yeah.
fucking love Christmas.
Is it going to be the return of Satan, baby?
Are we redoing any of this song?
I have a whole
Can you
plan.
do
Okay.
a Krampus song?
That we did last
We
year. We'll
did.
play it for you.
We're
pretty much.
basically-
Bad fan.
You,
It's called Satan Baby,
Yeah.
and it's basically about Satan
Well, it's-
coming for
it's
you in the
the-
night, but it's pretty much
The
what
premise
Krampus
is because some kid fucked up and wrote
yeah,
what he wants to Satan.
to Satan,
Santa.
and then
So
Satan
Santa
showed up.
Yeah.
Well, you get what you asked for.
You
Exactly.
really do. All
I have a
right,
plan for Christmas.
you have a plan for Christmas. But what was tonight? What was tonight? What was the band that you were listening to?
Oh,
That
I
really
was listening to
inspired?
Enslaved for the last couple of days.
Yeah, and especially the one song is it's Isa or Issa.
I think.
And you sent me that. You said listen to the first 4 tracks at least. I listened to about 6 or 7 of them to kind of get the feel of it. What was there anything really different about the formatting of this song? Was there anything that they
No.
do that you were really pulling from?
Well, that album has some more shorter pop oriented songs.
Yeah.
Like what we have been going for.
Yeah, the
you
actual
know?
like structure of verse,
so
chorus,
that was
bridge,
cool.
verse, chorus.
Now
yeah.
I do have a question. Do you guys think that we have hit pop
For
what we're
us, we
trying to
have.
do.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure in a
okay.
year, if we kept doing pop, we would look back and go, "What the fuck were we doing? We're writing
True.
1-minute-and-30-second songs now. We got real
Yeah,
snappy."
Well, we wrote pop death metal though.
Yes,
True.
that is true.
So like if
This is true.
we changed all of the parts to different parts,
Yes,
but
If we
kept
switched the
kept
parts.
kept the lyrics and the progressions and everything the same.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Yeah. Now, Justin, for the drumming side of this, what was in it for you today?
I don't know, more the same.
More
but
the same?
Trying different little things. you know.
Trying different little things. Anything that was like super challenging? Because I mean, again, there's another one where it's like 6:15. You were done already with drums.
I mean, but we also started a little.
We
bit
did start a
early.
little bit earlier.
I
We
think
did
I got.
cheat, kind
I think
of.
I got on drums like 15 minutes earlier
than you
I
usually
normally
would.
did.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
it
know.
seemed to
I
fly
mean,
by pretty easily
there
today.
was. There was a few things that we just took a couple takes just to try and get different feels for certain spots.
Yeah, definitely. Now, lyrically, this song is pretty much about being the drunk people that like to go out and just rule on Halloween weekend. So that writing kind of that metal, dark feel, like in the
We all
chorus.
have vocals on this.
We all did vocals once again, all three of us. So it's the second. Actually, there is one other song earlier in the season where you do have one thing that you say. I forget which song it was. It was in the first like 2 or 3 weeks. So there's technically 3 songs where we all have vocal performances on. Okay. But Zach did some death metal vocals on here.
Some black metal
vocals on here. Justin, you did your normal low end growl, and then I did some pretty singing and some screaming.
I feel
as
like this is like the accumulation of
the last couple of weeks.
It was nice to write 6 songs all in the same style.
Yeah, fuck
And
yeah.
like if you listen to the one from the first week to this one, you can see
I like
everything
all of
we
the
learned
season
about
songs,
doing
though.
it.
I'm pretty happy with all of this.
Oh, yeah,
For
we've
me, it
definitely
has been
been
more
knocking it
fun.
out.
Like we did the concept album, and so every week we went into it knowing
We wrote a fantasy
what-
concept album for 6 weeks.
Nice.
It's about a garbage man who gets whisked to a magical world called Captalon and has to...
sort of Harry Potter.
It's like
Yeah,
a Page Master.
Page Master, Planet of
Harry
the
Potter.
Apes, Wizard of
Very
Oz,
beautiful.
all
Okay.
of those mixed into one.
It sounds beautiful.
It's epic.
That wasn't like metal at all. That was mostly piano.
A lot of
So it was
operatic
nice
singing.
to come home. I knew I was writing for piano every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Now the last 6 weeks, I have come into the writing process knowing we're gonna go as brutal as we know how to go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's great.
Now, you're saying that you feel like this is a good kind of culmination of the last 6 weeks. We'll let everybody listening at home be the judge. We did just call the song Halloween, right?
Yeah.
It's just called Halloween. So it is about that wonderful day that's coming up in 2 nights from today. If you're listening in the future, a certain number of days in the past. So here
Halloween's
is,
always coming, though.
It's always coming. It's always just like
always
Jesus.
coming at Halloween.
Always coming.
And dolphins.
I'm starting to think that you got a dick that doesn't let go of dolphins.
I'm a dick and I don't let go. That's for sure.
True. That is true.
I think your heart doesn't let go.
Oh.
I think that's what it is.
Aw, not a dolphin dick. He definitely, his heart will never let go of a dolphin dick. All right, so let's jump right into our Brunch Weekly original.
Original.
Oringanal. Our Brunch Workly Oringanal. This is our Snap, Crackle, and Pop for this week. Here it is Halloween. We'll see. What time did we get it?
3:43.
All right, under the 4-minute mark, so it is definitely a radio pop
Helen
song.
said Flipper's coming for you, Zach.
Flipper's coming for you. We got to redo the Jesus song, but it's about watch out now, Flipper's coming for you. All right, so let's jump right into Halloween. We'll see you guys in about 4 minutes. Enjoy. Turn it up. Turn it way up if you're at home.
Or if you're at church.
At church, turn it all the way up. All right. Down goes the sun. How come the sinners? I rain the streets. Yes, All right, so there you have it. That is Halloween, our Brunch weekly original single. I can say it.
Original.
Originally snang. Damn it, it's gone again. It's gone again. All right, so again, today we have a very special episode because we have two guests in the house. We are joined now on camera by Anna and Marissa. Now, welcome to the houseboat Timothy Jones. That is what we call this wonderful room and building. If you didn't know, it's
establishment.
It's a boat. We're on a boat right now. This is a houseboat.
I do feel the boat vibe.
You can feel it flowing back and forth a little bit. Definitely, you can hear it. You can
we're
feel
definitely
It's
moving
to be closer
right now.
to the dolphin.
Yes, Zach. Zach likes to be near the dolphins.
The fish are wild.
Now, Anna and Marissa are the hosts of a podcast called But What Do We Know? And so not only are you the first dual female guest, we've never had two female guests at once. Awesome there. You are the first guest that we have from another podcast. We've never had somebody from another podcast, which is a little insulting, seeing that we are brought to you by Moucha TV that has two other podcasts that we've never crossed over with.
Sorry,
Eric.
But we have these ladies here joining us today, and now your podcast. I've listened to a couple of clips of different episodes and everything because. Like us, you guys really go for that hour 45, which I kept going at the beginning of this, we're gonna do an hour and 15-minute show. That's what we're going.
Yeah, that never happens.
It doesn't work out ever. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves, your personal history with each other, how you got to know each other, and then how that all led to you doing this podcast together.
How much time do we have?
Yeah.
8 hours.
So Anna and I started this podcast because I put up an Instagram question, and I think I asked ask me questions, I'm bored, and she's like, hey, what do you think about the paranormal? Let's start a podcast. And then
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And you're like, okay, and I'm like, then I private message. I was like, no, seriously, let's start a podcast. And then 2 weeks later, we did.
But I actually met Anna on Tumblr. Well,
yeah. So So I went to University of Scranton.
And I went to Marywood. So both were Scranton.
But I'm from Scranton, so I had friends from high school that went to Marywood that knew Marissa. And my one friend, Anthony, said, knew your friend Connor.
Oh, yeah.
And met you. And Anthony said to me, I think you would be good friends with Marissa. So then I followed you on Tumblr.
Yeah, and then
we met in real life.
Yeah, because we found out we were...
Weird.
Both weird. Yeah. Both weird. Now, one thing that I've noticed a lot with a lot of true crime, because you guys you focus on true crime, conspiracy theories, paranormal. Is there anything else that you like to include in that list? Really?
Just personal stuff.
Just anything that jumps out to you.
Makes us cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cry a lot.
Well, that's what I'm kind of getting to. Almost any podcast for me. One of the, I don't know if you've watched it, but one of my favorite podcasts is My Favorite Murder.
Of course.
And those ladies, listen to them talk and how they describe things and why they're doing their podcast. Always seems to be like for true crime. We're women. For them, they're like 30s to 40s. They're like, we are the prime target for a crime to happen to. So we're extra terrified about it. Yeah. But since we're not somebody that's just going to push it away, we're going to like live in the fear and just like immerse ourselves. Like, I'm going to watch Criminal Minds and SVU every single day just so I can be looking out for that motherfucking creep over there who's doing something weird in the corner at the the photo shop or something. And you'd be like, I've seen this before.
Helen,
you can stay away.
Yeah, I don't
know if you do
understand
cold
that.
case files.
I love cold case files.
Okay.
Yeah.
The show or
show?
like...
I don't know. She just
all
said,
of them.
Do you work on?
There is a show.
I mean, we're not investigators, so we don't work to solve.
We think we're investigators.
I mean, we talk about cold cases.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's what she was asking.
Now, Zach, what are you saying you don't get? What don't you get?
Well, the largest demographic that watches these true crime things and listens to the podcasts are, like you said, the women that could be that are in a lot of these stories the victims. And to me, my favorite form of media would not be a show about fat white guitar players who drink too much getting murdered. It's like, if I see a show and
if that happened every day, wouldn't you be more nervous?
I'm not watching this shit anymore.
You gotta learn what's gonna happen to you. Like, if I am anywhere and I see someone that looks suspicious, I take a full profile of them. I'll be like, brown eyes, black hair.
Is my
wearing
GPS on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who can I call? Who's on speed dial? Like,
Yep.
Will Anna know? Now it's like, if can we do a podcast episode about it if I get fucking kidnapped? So like, but it's like you learn.
The final episode.
Are you trying to
Anna
get kidnapped at this point?
Honestly, I think I've told Cliff like a lot of times that if someone takes you, we will find you.
Yeah.
I don't care.
No one's gonna take me. Don't worry about it.
I had a dream once that somebody kidnapped me, and then I started talking to them just like normally like this, and they shoved me out of the car.
Like,
thank you.
I picked the wrong one.
Are you
I picked the wrong one.
All
right. So you met through friends and everything, but then you were roommates for a period of time, correct?
Yeah, we were friends for a while, and then you needed a roommate, so I was like, hey, I have a free... Well, that wasn't free. I have an open room.
And then we worked
She's
together.
like, that was free? You charged me?
Yeah, it's fucking expensive. No.
Well, we lived together, and then we also worked at 2 different jobs together.
All
so
right.
we were together
all the time.
What was the best of the 2 jobs that you worked together?
Starbucks.
Yeah. Now, I was going to say, in your first episode, you talk about how you were both the worst baristas.
Yeah.
We actually got potentially red flagged from all
the company,
Starbucks.
corporate.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty punk rock right there.
And I thought
you can only work at Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf.
Yeah. I actually applied to a Starbucks, and they never called me back.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
I was like, maybe we really.
You better be careful. You might not be able to get a job at a Target soon because they're merging real hard in there.
That's true.
You're not going to be able to go into a giant ever.
A giant, yeah, they have it too.
So the reason, or the show started off because you posted a question, she responded and proposed this. What was, after you did one episode and after you were kind of like, all right, we did this, what was the reason for keep going? Were you just like, wow, that worked really well, we had a fun time, after the nerves and the butterflies and the weirdness of hearing yourself when you listen back? Because that's always weird for everybody.
For me, the reason we keep going is because I have mental health disorder and I'm a perfectionist. So I was like, well, I can't stop now.
Gotta keep going.
Yeah. I have too much of an ego.
Fuck yeah. If we put this away, I'm going to be reminded in 3 years on Facebook of that thing I used to do. No, I feel you there. I definitely feel you there.
We get like one more like or one more listen. I was like, oh, we gotta keep going.
Yeah.
The people love us.
And they love, for me, it's like all just being conceited that, everybody must love us because we're funny.
Our dream is to quit our daytime jobs.
Absolutely.
And just
100%.
do that 100%.
Hell yeah.
We don't
That is the dream.
That's
That is the dream.
And we
Would be
talk
nice.
about this anyway.
Yeah.
So, before we started this, I would text her, my favorite thing, I love dead child cases.
She loves dead kids.
I love them.
Glad that's not where the sentence ended. I love dead child.
Dead child. That would be upsetting.
A, I don't like your grammar. B, what the fuck? Anna, I don't think you're safe here. I don't think you're safe.
So I would send her, articles about dead kids, and she'd be like, oh, okay, cool. And then, that's how you know.
Yeah.
It's true friendship.
Yeah.
Well, and so have you ever tried, either of you, reaching out to somebody with something like a dead kid
child.
article, and they just go, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No, we're not too far away, I feel like.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
We're pretty hot. Well, I feel like I'm getting pretty hot on that
She's
case
getting
in
Barbara
Lehigh
Walters.
Valley.
Oh.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. You're getting hot on a case?
It's those kids they were hanging in the basement.
Oh,
Did you see that?
yeah. I know about that,
it did, yeah.
So she's all on it.
So I'm
Barbara
trying to
Walters
make that Barbara Waltering.
Hell yeah.
In this case.
Oh, cool.
But have you ever started up a conversation in at a party with somebody and then immediately went, "Oh God, we're not on the same page"?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
And how do you get out of that? Do you just go, "I'm just kidding," or do you just go deeper
I just keep
and
talking
deeper
until they walk away.
Yeah. And they're just like, I have to go refill on my punch, and they just chug their punch. They just spill it on their head, and they're just like, oops, I gotta dry
off.
off.
The wild thing is because the true crime podcast community is so big.
Yeah.
And so you feel like this is fucking normal. You're talking to all these people about it. But then you talk to normal people,
all
and
these
they're
normies.
all the normies. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's how I feel about video games, because I'm so absolved with video games at times.
And then
I'll
you
talk to people,
me,
and they're like,
and I'm just
what
like,
are you talking about? And I'm like,
Dude,
yeah, it's really not that big.
Every time I bring up fucking dolphins, people get weird.
Well, maybe because you lead with, have you ever fucked a dolphin? No? You haven't been fucked by a dolphin?
Have you ever given a dolphin acid?
Oh.
Definitely
Have you ever given a dolphin ass?
No, it started with Forever Dolphin Love, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's a weird song on a weird album from a weird band.
Wait, who was that?
Conan Moccasin.
Yeah.
Conan Moccasin?
Yeah, from...
What a name.
Oh, that is a good name.
From Australia?
Sweden?
No, New Zealand.
New Zealand?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, more dolphin love. Dolphin love.
That's Forever Dolphin Love is actually the name of the song. It's weird.
It's the name of the album, too, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think so.
That's just disturbing. Yeah, it's a little disturbing.
Yeah.
All right, so off
Flipper
the dolphin
rides
topics.
again.
Flipper rides again. Fuck yeah, Helen. All right, so on the show, you guys were at 28 episodes?
Yeah,
somewhere around there?
29.
We're just
Yeah.
getting to 30 this week.
Have you been doing weekly, bi-weekly? What is your weekly?
We're pretty intense.
Hell yeah. Now, what is your setup and format? I know you've done some in person, but you do also through Skype,
Yeah,
right?
the majority of our episodes are done over Skype. We leave about an hour and a half away from each other, so that's just not feasible. So
Yeah.
we'll record over Skype and then merge the tracks together and edit
you're good enough friends that do you feel like there is anything lost when it's over Skype, or it's still the same thing as sitting in the room and just bullshitting with each other?
As long as we can see each other's beautiful faces.
That's the thing. We need to see each other. Because we tried one where we were talking on the phone and had our headphones in, and it just wasn't the same.
A weird chemistry. Just something was off.
Our facial.
Now, you guys are just taking the audio, though, or are you guys putting out videos?
No, just audio.
Just audio.
We have had people suggest to do video, but
I mean, that's
those
sort
are
of
just
what we got
perverts
to.
that like dolphins.
That's true.
I mean, that's how we sort of got into video. People were like, "You should do it," and we're like, "Oh."
We're like, we're a YouTube show for 2 seasons that had no visuals whatsoever, except our logo being shown on the screen.
Yeah.
And then people were like, "Yeah, it would definitely help," and it's definitely
a different transition when you get into that.
You have to get used to. I mean, like I was saying before, when you get into doing a podcast, you have to get over your voice. This is how I sound, and you're like, I don't sound like this. Like you always sound. And for Zach and I, about a year ago, he went. My brother got married, and Zach was there, and he was just sitting in a circle. We were standing in a circle talking, and one of my brother's friends from Philly goes, "Oh, you're the guy from the show." And Zach's like, "How did you recognize me?" The guy's like, "From your voice." And Zach's just like, "What are you talking about?" And it's just like, "Oh, yeah, I guess you do have a pretty recognizable height." But like on audio, we had to get over like that or get used to that. Yep. And then when it became video format, it was just kind of like, oh, now we sit here and look at ourselves.
This is what I look like.
Like, this is what I look like. Yep. And the first couple episodes, Zach was just like, I'm not bald. And like fixing his hair. Like, this is shining in a weird way. And I
have the widow's peak going on and I'm very self-conscious.
Well, I also wear a hat pretty much at all times because it does go back to about here. Yeah.
But it's just not... It's just not in the corners of my forehead.
Yeah, and the camera's going right at those corners. So in the 29 episodes that you've done so far, what are there any topics that you've done that were like, I need to do this? Like when you announced to each other or to the public that like, we're going to be doing this show, it's going to be coming out, we're going to do it every week. Was there one thing that you were just like, I can't wait to do that you've already done in the last couple of months?
I love John Bonet. She's my fave.
Ooh, John Bonet Ramsey.
I love John Bonet.
Is that the one who cut her husband's dick off?
No, that's the little girl, the beauty pageant.
She was a child, but
pageant star.
No.
And she did not cut her husband's dick off.
She didn't cut anybody's dick off.
It's like that. It's like that kind of name.
No, that was Lorena Bobbitt.
Lorena Bobbitt. Sorry.
John Bob. I get it.
Same thing, close. Yeah, I
lady
did John Bonet and
oh man,
I'm stupid.
What's the Elise? I do John Bonet, Elisa Lam, Madeline McCain.
All the dead.
Every dead child.
So dead child. So again, you're all about the dead children.
The John Bonet, that's still unsolved, right?
It is.
Yes,
okay.
Are any of them that you've covered ones that were solved like years later in maybe a cold case way? Like any of those 3 that you just mentioned, are all of them unsolved still?
All still unsolved. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Anna, for you, what was your like number 1, 2, and 3, or however many you got?
Number 1, Kurt Cobain conspiracy theory.
All right.
2, Demon House.
What's Demon House?
Oh, it's scary as fuck, and I was like, I couldn't
Have
sleep.
you, or sometimes it's called House of 200 Demons.
No, it sounds like a Rob Zombie movie, though.
Yeah.
It was a house that allegedly was possessed by 200 demons, and our favorite celebrity, Zach Baggins from Ghost Hunters. Travel Channel.
Wait, is that the guy with the glasses?
Yes.
The hotshot dude?
Dude, my brother is
not
a big
only-
Zach Baggins fan.
Who isn't a big Zach
So's my dad.
Baggins fan?
I have a
Anybody
picture
trying to
really
fight
love
ghosts?
superimposed with Zach Bagans from when I was in high school. I've loved him for so long. I just...
Okay.
He became I just need to shout out Zach. No.
Stop it. But not only did he investigate the house, he
my God.
bought the house.
Oh.
You have to listen to the episode.
Helen wants to know where the house is.
It's...
One of those random states like Ohio or Idaho.
One of those random 4-letter
Like
Iowas, something like that.
I always like when they went to, what's the music
Michigan?
place that they go to?
They go to Ohio.
in the South.
Yeah.
Bobby Mackey's.
Bobby Mackey's, yeah.
But we recently did a 9/11 episode, and
Oh.
that was
yeah.
we were very apprehensive about it, but it's
Did
something we need
you
to get off our
did you
chest.
drop it the week of, or did you wait a couple
was
weeks
We
after?
waited like the week after.
You waited
We're like,
the
it's
week
too
after?
much, it's
But
too
the
close.
week that we recorded, like, that it was around 9/11, we're like, oh, we're going to be recording something that happened 18 years ago.
Yeah. That is weird. That's just a weird thing that's already that long ago. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, most of us can remember that happening. Now, with that, did you dive into a lot of the conspiracies? And,
It was all conspiracy, and
like the hole in the Pentagon. There's no way that was made by the engine that they're saying it was made.
I think like we
None
were
of
like,
the lights were torn
we'll
down.
just go into 9/11 conspiracy theories. But then the more we were researching, we're like,
It's too
there's
much.
too much fucking information.
Oh, yeah.
There's
We have a whole
lot.
podcast on it.
Yeah.
So we just were like babbling like idiots, and
So-
we're like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
So-
like 3 hours later.
To kind of go over the setup of how you guys do your show, you each pick a topic each week, and you'll like kind of go, I'm doing a conspiracy
Yeah.
theory, you do a paranormal, so it's not the same style, not always true crime or something like that. You don't tell each other what you're doing
No.
until you're
No.
going on the show, right?
Right.
How far in advance, or is it actually live on
Live
air?
on air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever try and trick each other?
Yeah.
Or
Have you ever
give,
like,
give
just,
something that would, I don't know, put a wrench in the wheels, sort of?
I don't know. This last episode, I feel like I really.
Marissa doesn't like paranormal stuff, so
Okay.
she'll try to like get out of her comfort zone.
And it never
Okay,
works
okay.
out for me.
Okay, what's the one that one of the ones that you tried, maybe the latest one for the paranormal that didn't really work out?
It's airing our next episode.
Oh.
I'll tell you, it's a surprise.
All right, it's a
but
surprise. Well, because it's a surprise for you live, but it's a surprise for everybody when it
It
drops.
was an actual ghost story that took place in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Which you don't think ghost stories happen then, but
No, they were
do.
just too busy making movies
They were-
about them. They weren't
Sure.
actually
Right.
happening anymore.
And let me tell you, it is
It's a doozy.
It's
fucking horrible.
terrifying. Yeah.
Not,
you
no,
ever-
no,
No. Oh, just bad.
Hilarious.
Have you
Oh,
ever,
hilarious.
Have you ever
Okay.
covered the Rain Man or whatever the fuck it was?
Oh, the
from around here?
Strasbourg. Yeah, the Strasbourg Rainman. You ever hear about this?
No.
Definitely
It's an
look
unsolved
into this.
mystery. Yeah,
Ooh,
check-
yeah, I gotta look into this one.
That's
Oh, yeah.
a
It's
wild
Was he like a
story.
murderer or?
No, it was a
No.
guy who literally in his house made it rain inside his house from the floor
And he
to
like
the
worked in
ceiling.
Doughboys,
Yeah.
where
he was-
Bavino's is now, next to the East Stroudsburg High School.
Yeah, the
Uh-huh.
pizzeria.
They said he was
pizzeria there.
possessed. They took him to jail. He made it rain inside
Yeah.
the jail.
Yeah,
fucking
definitely.
There's an unsolved
There's-
mysteries
there's-
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be our next
That's the
crossover
next one.
episode. You
Yeah,
guys,
there we
you
go.
guys
I'm
study
gonna
that,
cry
and then
about it.
we'll jump in.
Cry about it.
Well, then but one of the next things I would talk about, speaking of wanting to cry about it, your first episode, yeah, Anna, you already mentioned the Kurt Cobain conspiracy, but Marissa, your topic was Mothman. And I will tell you, I started listening to the episode while closing at work one night, and I had turned
No, I
all. I work at a dive bar. I turned everything off. We're already decorated for Halloween, so everything's already kind of dark and spooky in there. And I am not a horror fan. I am easily terrified by most things. And listening, like, I was getting chills the entire time. And I know all about Mothman. Like, everything you said, I had already researched. And I was just like, how am I so, like, freaked out? And literally, I went outside for a cigarette. And I'm looking around for red eyes. And I'm like,
Well,
this is
I was
terrifying.
telling Kyle the first time I saw that, I saw it in theaters. And it
Oh, the
was
Mothman
me-
Prophecies.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love
It
that
was
movie.
myself, my best friend, and two others that used to work at the jukebox, Missy, and I forget who else was with us. I
All
think
right.
her girlfriend at the time. And we go, and we're trashed, and we go in this, and like, whatever, we're the only people in the theater, and I walked out of there, I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, what just happened? Like, that's some fucking crazy shit.
It's disgusting.
It's a fucking crazy
We got a
story.
comment from Miranda talking about the Rain Man thing
She
that we were
knows
talking
the
about.
detective that
knows the
witnessed
Detective
it,
Wolbert
and
was the police officer
He would
on
do an
site
interview.
for the sideways.
Would he?
Miranda, let's get
That's
it.
what she said. She
Sideways
said
house thing.
He would do an
witnessed
interview.
it.
No.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he
Message
said that he
us.
witnessed it. So
Hello,
yeah.
Miranda.
do
Thank you
it.
for joining us. Hell yeah.
Message us.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you picked Mothman. Justin, you said you went and saw it really super fucked up.
Yeah.
I saw it. I was probably one of my oldest friends, Mike. We were in a band at one point, and we were just hanging out. And he goes, "You've never seen Mothman Prophecies?" I'm like 20, and I'm like, "No." And he goes, "It's Richard Gere." And in my head, I think one thing
Don't
when
you dare say that
Richard
to my mother.
when Richard Gere comes up, I think of Primal Fear. It's one of my
Primal Fear,
favorite
yeah.
movies. Him and
So
Edward
good.
Norton. It's so good. And then I know him from all of like the fun, like
Chicago.
Chicago for sure. I played Billy Flynn in high school in
Did
Chicago,
you? God.
so I could not
love a
watch that
musical.
for like a year because I was like, I don't want to steal what Richard Gere did for the role.
You don't wanna taint
I don't
your
want to taint it.
performance.
And we did it the year that it came out, so I was like,
Oh,
we're
we
already
got
kind of
to,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck. So I was like, I love Primal Fear, and he goes, if you like Primal Fear, it's an investigative movie, but just let's fucking watch it. And we're watching it, and I'm just like, oh, and what you say in the episode of your pilot episode, the moment it goes based on true events, you're like, what the fuck? Why the fuck did this happen? And the chills, literally, I had to turn, and I'm not too proud to say I turned the episode off until I got back home and lights were on and I wasn't in an empty bar.
Understand.
It definitely freaked me out. But then the other thing with that pilot episode is the conspiracy of Kurt Cobain's death. I have a personal connection to it because I did it. No. I was 8 years old. I pulled that shotgun. No, in high school, I skipped over a year because my school had a lot of messed up things with the credits. So all of a sudden I found out if I just took one English class during my junior year, or two instead of one, I would graduate at the end of my junior year. So I was like, all right, fuck it, let's do this. And I had to I was in an AP English class, but to take an 11th grade English class in that year, I had to go to just your regular English class. And I'm used to really writing, really trying to throw all of my personal shit into there and be more of an editorial than just regurgitating facts that somebody else and citing everything that somebody else said. So I wrote a 17, 18 page paper on the conspiracy, MLA format, double space, but on the conspiracy behind Kurt Cobain's death. And I handed it in, and the teacher I doubt she really read it, but skimmed through and basically handed it back with an F on it going, you didn't cite anything here. And I was just like, what do you mean? I cite everything. The first 2 pages and the last 2 pages, I cite everything. She goes, but there's 13 pages in the middle here that is just
you were
random.
Just typing.
And I'm like, yeah, shouldn't I get extra credit for coming up with something on my own? This is me connecting the dots from all these things. Well, what I did is I just went home, took the paper, retyped it all up, and just threw in bullshit citations, brought it back the next day, and got an A- on it, so that was all fun.
Well, answer your question on did she read the paper?
Yeah, she definitely did not.
No.
She definitely.
No.
I thought she didn't like the amount of times I said Rohypnol in class because I had to do a verbal presentation about it. So I'm saying heroin and Rohypnol, and he put how could you pull a shotgun when you're on 3 times the amount of lethal heroin at the time of your death, blah, 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 going on and on and on. But one of my favorite things about that conspiracy is the man that goes by the name of Joe Mama. Joe Mama is apparently the person that was the last to see Kurt alive. And then Courtney's dad went and made that fucking documentary.
Yep. Courtney's dad hates her.
He really hates her. He must have heard
the
a whole album.
The one
or something.
about with the private investigator.
Wow.
That's Tom Grant, yeah.
Her dad made that.
Her dad is the producer, the guy who pushed for it to be made. Yeah. It's crazy.
Real quick.
Yes.
Miranda said to hit her up and she'll get you the info.
Oh, yeah.
And did Courtney Love do it?
Courtney Love didn't physically do it. Courtney orchestrated.
You think she orchestrated? I'm on the same page there.
Yeah.
I definitely think that
I agree.
Because kind of in a way that I didn't really think about it at the time when I wrote the paper, but now in kind of the world we live in, everybody knows somebody that's had a problem with heroin and somebody that's been in a bad relationship with another person who has a problem with heroin. You made you gave me the realization in your argument about it of yeah, they were in love.
Right.
No, they were just 2 rock stars that were both huge addicts on the same thing.
Yeah.
And then they got pregnant, and one of my favorite lines in that episode is, no pun intended, it was a shotgun wedding. Because he killed himself with a shotgun.
Look at it.
It's great.
They said that story that when she was born, he brought a revolver into the hospital with him.
Gee, did not know that.
When Frances was born.
Frances Bean. Oh, yeah.
Little Bean.
Not anymore. She's an adult
She's
now.
hot.
Miranda also says Kurt's manager was also infamously the biggest piece of shit in the industry. So
Kurt's manager at the time? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he wasn't surrounded by a lot of great people besides the 2 in his band. Yeah. And, so
I also like the rumor of, Dave Grohl did it because look at his career now. And it's that dude was living on his friend's fucking couch writing the first Foo Fighters album.
Yeah, Jesus
He didn't
Christ.
have any fucking money at all.
Totally, it was totally him. It was totally Grohl. He stole everything and just, that's.
Dave Grohl also killed Tupac.
Yes,
Did
he do
Look at
Biggie
his
as
career.
well?
Dave Grohl killed Tupac and Biggie and Kurt Cobain.
And then he gave Johnny Cash cancer. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. He actually went back in time and blinded Ray Charles. It's just he's the quantum leap of rock
Dave
and
Grohl
roll.
wants all the music in
Yeah, he wants it all. You really think that he came up with all those ideas of songs that are good and kind of sound the same? Nah, not at all. Not
Lisa's
at all.
next, dude. Watch out.
Oh my god.
no.
Take him, please. So yeah, that was like in your first episode. I highly recommend everybody listen to every episode. But definitely for me, those were two that really jumped out at me. Now you've already said that Marissa, you're not really big on the paranormal, right?
I enjoy it and I like to hear about it, but it scares me too much and the pictures are a little too frightening for me.
Okay.
So I leave it to Anna.
You prefer children dead.
I prefer dead
You
children.
prefer dead
Pictures
kids
of dead kids.
Yeah.
than guys with beady red eyes and a 10-foot wingspan.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite is I forgot, The Boy in the Box.
Boy in the Box.
Well, explain a little bit about
Oh,
Boy
and
in
I
the
also
Box.
I love The Girl in the Box.
That's Alice in
The Girl in the
Chains, not
Box.
It's a
Nirvana.
man in the box. So what's about Boy in the Box? Like a brief synopsis on
Oh,
that.
it's so sad.
It's the worst, saddest one ever in the whole world. The little boy got found. He was found dead in a cardboard box
Oh,
in
jeez.
Philly.
Oh.
And he was probably, they believe he was probably like some kind of like sex trafficked child
What?
in
That's
the
fucked up.
50s.
In the 50s?
Yeah, he'd be 68 now, and Cliff and I went to his grave.
It's never been identified.
He's labeled. It's labeled America's Unknown Child,
Jesus.
and people leave toys and shit.
Now, you
for
also
him.
said a girl in the box. Is there a
So
similar
she did the
thing?
Boy in the Box, and then the next episode I did Girl in the Box.
How different is that story?
Pretty different.
Okay.
So she was older. She wasn't a child. Not that makes it better. But she was a hitchhiker
Okay.
who ended up being kidnapped and held prisoner in a literal box under someone's bed for like 15
Jesus.
years.
Whoa.
So
15 years?
Yeah.
Whoa.
They kept her in a literal box and then
That's
took her
That's
out
some
to
like
torture her.
X-Files home
Yeah.
episode shit.
She survived.
Like, she's
She-
like, just pull
She
out.
escaped because her captor's wife let her go, and then she escaped.
So wait, was the wife and the captor both sleeping on the bed that
Oh,
she
yeah.
was...
They fucked on it.
She and the wife gave birth on that bed while the girl was laying.
What?
in the box
And no
under
doctor
her
was
bed.
like, is there somebody like... This is awful loud birthing that we're having over here. That's a shitty doctor. That's a shitty fucking
I'm not
doctor.
sure doctors were involved.
Yeah, maybe
Probably
not.
not.
Maybe not.
Probably not.
But I'm sorry.
Helen wants to know
cut
for a
this off.
friend if Mothman is still a legitimate excuse for murder.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't really ever a
Mothman
murderer.
never murdered.
He
He
was
was
the
like
harbinger.
tortured the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the prophet of murder.
Yeah,
Right,
or,
right.
but the whole thing with Mothman, with the bridge collapsing, it was like almost like a year to the day type of thing, or it was like very like soon after,
A lot
a year
of people
after.
like worship the Mothman.
Yeah,
now.
they put a
Big Mothman
statue.
Well, I mean,
Festival.
it's
Yeah.
in video games. It's a big thing in
It's
Fallout
a huge-
76.
Yeah,
the
it's a
Mothman.
huge
Yeah.
thing.
All kinds of crazy
So I
shit,
mean, I'm
yeah.
assuming you could use if you murdered somebody, you could just be
Use
like,
them as your
Mothman
ally.
did it.
It was Mothman.
I didn't do my research, and it was him.
I don't know. Try it at your own risk, I guess.
Exactly.
I would not
Do not
recommend that.
recommend.
Do not recommend that at all. Now, are there any ideas for episodes that you haven't recorded yet, like that you have been holding on to either for like a specific season or just one that you're going, I don't know if I can do this ever, and you're just been waiting one
See,
that you know you're gonna want to do
Because
one
I
day.
like the conspiracy theories,
Yes.
and I want to do conspiracy theories that I don't believe in.
Okay,
But I just don't like.
you
I
can't
don't know
find
how
any.
controversial. Like anti-vaxxers, like
Okay,
flat
yeah,
Earth,
yeah,
like
yeah.
stuff I don't believe in. But I don't
Yeah.
know if I can like bring myself to
To
research.
actually
yeah.
do the research.
Yeah.
I get into an argument once every 2 weeks with the same guy about flat Earth,
God.
and it's so great because obviously the Earth is flat, right? We're all on that.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're on that
Sure.
page.
Sure.
We're
Yeah,
on
of
there?
course.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here, and we haven't rolled over yet. And anytime he gets in the argument, I don't know if it was like Neil deGrasse Tyson or some other talking head. Astrophysicist. They hold up like a tennis ball, and they go, "All right, look at this tennis ball. If you were microscopic, you could stand on this, tennis ball." And it would just look like it goes straight for forever because you can't see the actual curvature of everything. And then they like just keep going on and on. So like I always argue this guy, and I'm like, half-assed, like, I don't care. Like, if the Earth's flat, the Earth's flat. If the Earth's hollow, it's hollow. Like, it's not affecting me in any way. But this guy is so gung-ho off of, like, 3 or 4 dudes on YouTube's videos that, like, go full into how we've been lied to for forever. Also, the fact that, like, we could never have left, like, our atmosphere because there's, like, this barrier that you're going to hit. Like, this guy is fucking... You should have him on your show, except... You really shouldn't. You really shouldn't. So the anti-vaxxing,
I was just about to ask that. Yeah. Like the anti-vaxxing, do you guys get into that? Like, because that's more of a very modern, touchy subject.
That's why we were apprehensive about the 9/11 stuff. Because a lot of people are still super
sensitive.
touchy.
Yeah,
sure.
And anti-vax now is like extremely sensitive to some people.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what? Fuck those people. Though. If I had a child,
I agree.
and my best friend in the world had a child, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna be anti-vaxxers." Like,
want to be
Bye.
my kids are never going to meet your kids ever.
And that's the thing. It's like I have such strong opinions about these things. I'm like, I don't know if I can fucking talk about it and be even remotely objective about it.
We're not really objective about many
we're not
things,
objective at all.
To be honest.
Okay, yeah, like, do you, when you go into it, like, you have a topic that you choose when you're going into it. Do you try to separate, or are you just like, nope, I know this, and blah, blah, blah?
I think the only thing I can think about was probably 9/11, because we already had preconceived ideas.
Well, it's good that's the only thing you can think about, because you're never supposed to forget.
You never forget.
Never supposed to forget it.
Well, we went into it, and, like, I think we were super apprehensive about it because it's potentially so offensive, so we're like, let's do it neutral and talk about it in a neutral manner.
And you want to be respectful of something,
of course.
You know,
but then
that
there
happened.
were parts where we're like, yeah, that's fucking stupid, or like I said that. I won't say
Don't go.
Say, how much did you have to edit out of this episode, and how long is the edit process usually versus that episode?
Oh my God.
I said more about George W. Bush than I wanted to.
Yeah, she's talking about George W. Bush too much.
Big fan?
Depends on how you define fan.
Depends on how you define fan.
You love him reading children's books.
I just want to hang out with him so bad.
Same, exactly. He's
you,
cute.
him, and Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah, you can go see a baseball or a football game. They are friends.
Yeah.
Much to her dismay these days.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. So
I feel like the things we edit out though is not usually what we like our topics. It's about like shit we're talking about other people that we know that listen to the podcast. So like we gotta
just
edit
like,
out.
oh yeah, you hear about Karen? Fucking hate Karen.
See, we just literally
we're gonna have to take that out.
We do shout outs to our not even shout outs. We'll just like start talking about things that we have an episode with our buddy Pat from last summer that we did. And the whole entire thing is literally him just rambling on about a night at the bar and how he called some guy fucking Peter Parker and then like got into a fight and he just kept going on and on and on. And the whole episode is like, this is unlistenable to anybody that is not one of like 5 people.
Yeah.
Well,
But
like the one
we get
episode
real
we did,
personal.
we talked about crystals for like 45 minutes, and her sister-in-law was like, "You've been talking about crystals for 45
Hey,
fucking
crystals
minutes."
is some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
They
I
are.
know.
They're beautiful.
Some people don't want to hear it though.
Great.
Apparently.
Oh, I thought you meant the like White Castle crystals.
Oh, I thought you were
I
meaning
went
the
to
meth
food.
crystals.
Oh, wow. No,
No,
we mean like
spiritual.
beautiful.
Spiritual, like put this
Damn,
on your
I'm
forehead
on
while
that.
you sleep,
Yeah.
and you'll be better in the morning.
Yeah.
100%.
Have you ever looked into the like the whole idea of like the triangle, like sitting under a copper triangle is supposed to like help like the whole shape of the
Triangle power.
Yes,
Yeah,
like the
that's
big
a
thing.
cool one.
No,
No.
but you bet your ass that we're both going to look it up as
You
soon as
On the way home. Ah!
Mercury's going into
visualize the
retrograde on
triangle.
Halloween,
On the
so
31st.
we gotta get all our crystals ready.
You
or
gotta get
copper
them all ready.
triangles.
You gotta get them all ready,
Right.
otherwise
when we
something
went
will
through,
happen.
when
Last
we-
Mercury retrograde,
we couldn't even record.
my mic went
did it.
dead.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
it was bad.
So you guys are fans of like conspiracy theories and things along those lines, but you are believers in. It's not like you're naysayers on everything. Something like crystals, you fully subscribe to that. How fully, or is it something you just kind of like you like the idea of it?
I think that both of our homes, and I mean, Cliff is here, and he's my testament to the fact that I have crystals lining my windowsill.
Yeah.
Like
Crystal.
protect you?
and
We pick and choose how crunchy we want to be.
yeah, we're
Okay.
not too
Like,
crunchy.
I would vaccinate my kids, but I'd also put some lavender oil on their forehead to let them go to sleep.
When you move into a
Sure,
place,
I
do you
mean-
Palo Santo?
Yes.
All right.
Every New Year, I sage.
And there have been actual scientific studies that have proven that it does improve just, I don't know whether it's just the atmosphere or like help cleansing
it's like a
things.
placebo.
Yeah.
If anything, it's placebo, and that's okay.
I lived in
there's
northern...
healing properties on a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's like chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
The best thing
Exactly.
for a cold is
I
honestly
don't eat
chicken noodle
meat,
soup.
so...
You don't eat meat?
No.
It's a noodle
Well,
soup.
I mean, yeah,
I-
a broth or something. You know
I
what
think crystals are pretty, and pretty things make me happy. So
there's, even if it's just a psychological thing that you're doing to yourself.
exactly.
See, I used to live for a couple of months. I lived in this small town in Northern California, working on like pot farms, my brother and a bunch of other people. And it was my jumping full into the hippie lifestyle, the people literally having rocks everywhere, not just crystals, just like rocks that like meant certain things everywhere. We went to this town called Eureka, and there was a stone store, and we spent 3 hours like looking through, and I'm sitting there just like, oh my, like I get it that they're like pretty, and you think that they have like some like effect on you or anything, but I definitely feel like that is something that you put in the energy to it, and it kind of gives you the energy back in that way. But I still think that's mostly for you in your head, kind of in the way that I feel, not to get like too serious or controversial about anything, but some like anybody's religion, you're getting what you put into it.
Sure.
So if you really believe that this book or this scroll or something or these words have this powerful meaning, and then you say them like people with rosary beads or anything like that, it's going to give you a naturally
faith-based thing.
Yeah, faith-based stuff.
Whatever your faith.
If you're
in
fully
something
bought
is.
into it, it's going to work for you
You don't
because
talk yourself into
you don't have to talk yourself into it. So were there any others that you kind of gave a couple that you Anna didn't want to cover, but Marissa, were there any that you've been like afraid to step into, or ones that you're holding on to going, I can't wait to talk about this one?
So I have a couple that I can't wait to talk about. I'm really into the law of attraction
Okay.
and all of that stuff, so I want to talk about that, but I'm not knowledgeable enough
All right.
to talk about it, so I'm like, I don't know, I'll wait.
You're really into manifestation.
I'm really into manifesting.
Love it. Love that.
Oh yeah, I was manifesting earlier, but then everybody came home.
Yeah, that's the
In
word.
your car?
That's the word. That's he was in his car manifesting himself. Now, have you ever heard with the idea of like manifestation? Have you ever heard of the whole thing with the pink elephant? Have you ever heard of the pink elephant being used in anything? All right, so I was driving cross country with people that I lived in Northern California with, and my roommate at the time, she had a dream, and in the dream there was a pink elephant. And so we're in the car, and I'm Googling pink elephant, and a pink elephant, when seen somewhere, is supposed to be a sign, kind of like you're on the right path and you are helping manifest your destiny. And we were going to go to LA, where I used to live, and we were going to go to this bar that I love the podcast Harmontown, Dan Harmon, who created Rick and Morty and Community, the Sarah Silverman program.
Yeah, the History Channel thing.
Yeah, the History Channel thing that he
Which
did.
was pretty fun.
And I was always listening to the show, and I found a bar that he would always talk about. I went, we're going to go to this bar. I'm going to meet either him or Jeff Davis, his co-host, who is the tall, thin, good-looking guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway that always wears the suit, Jeff Davis. I'm like, we're gonna go there. We're gonna meet them. We're gonna hang out. It's gonna be great. And I'm just thinking this. And she had mentioned the pink elephant, so it kind of got. I'm like, yeah, let's positive fucking enforcement on this. Let's go. So we go to the bar, and my brother gets there. He gets there a little bit before us, and he goes, Jeff Davis is here. I'm like, I fucking knew it. So we go in, and we're talking to him. We're bullshitting with him. We're going on and on and on about everything. And then he invites us. He goes, oh, if you're gonna be around, we're gonna be in San Francisco tomorrow night. And we're like, we're literally driving through San Francisco tomorrow night. And he goes, we're doing Sketchfest. We're doing a live taping of the podcast. I can get you tickets. So he got us tickets. And then he goes, and afterwards, we're going to be at the Pink Elephant. And I went, Jesus Christ! And we went to the Pink Elephant. They were there. It was closed and to the public, and we were not able to get in, unfortunately. And I'm sitting there going, all I have is his email. He's probably not going to respond. But I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. So the Pink Elephant is something that shows up when you're like on the right path. Have you ever experienced, Marissa, anything where you feel like you fully manifested?
She's got a story for you.
Cliff's about to leave. All right.
This is my best.
Okay,
this
good.
is my best. I've told
I saw
Anna
it.
this story about 3,000 times already. But okay, so I love this shit, and I've always been good at doing little things, like manifesting little things. So Cliff and I are driving to his like family friends, little kid's birthday party in Quakertown. So we're sitting in
And
the
you're
car.
like, I don't like this. I don't like dead kids.
I'm like, yeah, I don't like dead kids. So I'm like, oh, what would spice it up? This is in my mind, my inner dialogue. I'm like, what would spice it up? So I'm like, Cliff, I really hope there's a pony at this party. And
This is the day I believed it, by the way.
All right.
and Cliff's like, it's Quakertown, Marissa. There's not going to be a pony at a birthday party in somebody's backyard. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Well, I think there is going to be one. And Cliff's like, oh, just because you said it, now there's going to be a fucking pony there. And he's like, because you always get these little things that happen to you or something like that. Because he didn't believe me when I said this before.
So lovingly and mockingly, you were mocking her.
Yeah, exactly. And so we get there, and there's this like trailer in the driveway ish area, and I'm like, oh, and I just am looking at him like, oh.
You're going, I smell a victory. And a shit.
And Cliff's like, oh, it's a four-wheeler. It's a four-wheeler.
You're in Quakertown.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Quakertown. And
It's actually a buggy because them damn Quakers.
Amish. And then it's like
Different things. That's
family
racist.
thing comes up to him. He's like, hey, yo, you gotta look at this mini horse. And I literally never have whipped my head around so fast in my fucking life to look at Cliff. And he's like, okay,
All right.
Yeah.
I believe it. There's a fucking mini horse in the
Wait,
back
is a
of this
mini
trailer.
horse the same as a pony?
No.
Yes,
No.
absolutely it is.
Well, a pony is not a baby horse.
a
right?
pony. It
No.
was the same thing. It doesn't matter. It was still
You were wanting a small horse that wasn't a
I just
donkey.
wanted something cute and little and that looked like a horse.
Now, if it had been a donkey, would you have felt just as justified,
because
and
it's
would you have
not-
I
believed
would
her?
have. I would have.
It would have been a different party.
It would have been different.
A
Yeah.
different kind
It
of
would have been
party.
a different. Have you seen?
We were going to an
These kids are
adult
into some
party.
weird shit, dude.
Have you ever seen
Bachelor
Parks
party.
and Rec?
Yes. Oh,
If
Lil
it looked
Sebastian.
like Lil Sebastian, that's
Oh.
how I pictured it. So and it looked like Lil fucking.
Yeah, because
Sebastian.
he's a miniature horse. He's a miniature horse.
Rob Dyrdek had a mini horse.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't
There's a
know
mini
that.
horse in Canadiensis across from where our garage
There's a mini
is.
horse farm in
There's a mini
Watergate.
horse, a pig, and a donkey, and they all live together in the same
Did
yard.
that mini horse ever eat that pig? Is
No.
that where you saw
No,
that?
they live in this guy's yard, and a cow used to live in his house.
I like this guy.
It's
I think,
cow lived in his
Canadiensis.
I think he should be our
Weird
friend.
things happen out
Weird
there.
things definitely happen. So that's cool. Yeah. So the manifestation, you think that'll be something you'll cover in the
I would
future?
love to, yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell
It
yeah.
would be so cool.
So for people that are listening right now that are interested in checking you guys out on different platforms, you're available on iTunes.
iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts.
Hell yeah.
All the things.
And you're on Instagram.
Instagram, Facebook.
But
Twitter.
what do we know? Podcast? Is that the at? Is
This
it
is-
at? But what do we know?
Instagram,
But What Do We Know
Instagram is
podcast.
at But What Do We Know Podcast. Twitter is at BWDWK Podcast.
I made the abbreviation before, and I was like, bow dow.
Bow
Bow dow. Should be your theme music. Bow
Yeah,
dow.
Cliff, get
Bow
on it.
dow.
Cliff.
Bow dow. What the hell, bro?
Cliff
What's
wrote
that?
that theme music.
Yeah, we'll just go upstairs afterwards. We'll do it. Yeah. We'll write it real quick. And what day of the week do you generally drop? Are you so OCD that it is the same day every week?
It has been Wednesday every
Okay.
week. This week I got sick, so I couldn't edit.
All right.
So Thursday, Halloween, we should be dropping this next episode.
Hell
It's typically every Wednesday.
Every
It works.
Wednesday.
Halloween.
Oh yeah.
And is this episode that's coming out on Thursday anyway themed towards Halloween?
They're
I mean,
both paranormal
we tried.
topics.
it's already kind of
yeah,
themed
it's
towards Halloween.
It's already spooky.
Yeah,
so.
spooky's already.
But we did 2 spooky
We
topics.
did.
So.
We each did a spooky.
She did a haunted object, and I did a poltergeist.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Now, how much research do you put in for each? I know in the first episode, it seemed that Marissa, you had some notes, and then Anna, you had 7 pages of
Anna
notes.
went way wild with it.
Well, the first episode, I have loved the Kirk Cobain conspiracy theory since I was 12 years old. So
Yeah.
I had like 20 years worth of knowledge.
Yeah.
The rest of the topics, I think it depends on what we're covering. So sometimes it's like a whole week's worth of research. Sometimes it's the morning of.
Sometimes it's a lifetime worth of research.
Yeah.
Like stuff that we've just always thought about.
Yeah.
It's all up here.
It's all up.
here.
I
Right
always
up in
say
your
I got a
noggin.
little bank of like crimes that I'm waiting to talk about.
Now,
Little big crime to commit.
yeah, I was gonna say, are there people that think that you're just waiting to commit a crime? Do you think there are
Have
people
you
that
ever
are just
had
like,
people
what are these?
contact you?
I check
authorities or anything? Like,
Not yet.
You never got that close.
Maybe
on
that
something.
detective
No.
that girl was talking about.
That's
He'll
fine.
contact you, and then he'll
I
cry on
think
your
that
show.
I'm a detective. I think I talk to any kind of police officer or anyone in the field that like I am a detective.
Yeah.
But
Hell yeah. So again, you said Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Apple
All of it,
Podcasts,
yeah.
all of those. Now, what podcasts do you listen to?
What? So many.
So many. Now, you've listened at least to My Favorite Murder. You listened to that one in the past.
I listen to a lot of podcasts because I travel a lot for work, so I basically only listen to podcasts. So my conspiracy true crime podcast, True Crime Garage, but what you know, it's us. And That's Why We Drink.
Heard of that one? I've not gotten into it.
They're good.
That's Why We
Good.
Drink. All right.
Wine and Crime podcast. Then I listen to like a lot of news podcasts. Pod Save America. There's a feminist podcast called Guys We Fucked. That one's good.
Hell yeah.
A lot.
Dolphins we fucked. There's
There's a bestiality podcast. Yeah.
You know, whatever comes my way. Oh, Murder Squad, Paul Holes, and
Okay.
yeah, they're good.
Have you ever listened? I know kind of like the biggest one in the world is the last podcast on the left. Have you ever checked those guys out?
I started to, but they were too chit chatty
Yeah.
and it was too much.
They're
I did
wild.
listen to them. I think they did 9/11 episodes, so I think I listened to that. But
Yeah.
sometimes
Okay.
like it's a very fine line between being too chit chatty and actually covering content.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what I
depends.
definitely with My Favorite Murder. Like they have great banter, and that's why I like it when it is like two people that are really super into a topic. And then I also have just a natural good rapport with each other. You can listen to them. Like with us doing the three of us doing this show, it's taken it didn't take that long for us to find our flow. But like once we found our flow, anybody that was listening was just like, yeah, it just sounds like I'm sitting in the room like listening to you guys
That's
talk.
what you want. Yeah.
And you want to have that.
you don't want to have to try to talk to each other.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
You know,
Anytime that there was one episode like maybe like 6 months in and there was like 3 seconds of dead air and I literally had almost a panic attack.
yeah,
in the
like the
middle.
look on your face.
Like
is
I was just like nothing is being said right now, and I had like a dialogue to myself, and then when I listened back to it, it's literally like, okay, and then and I'm like, no, we're gonna have to edit this, Justin. 'Cause we don't edit.
We don't edit anymore. We did for a while.
Yeah, it's
it
not
was
worth
such a
it.
hassle.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
It is a hassle.
It's a very big undertaking.
Justin has had to edit one episode in the last 3 seasons, really, and that is the one that we got kicked off YouTube 2 weeks ago for our episode title. That's the
We don't
theory that I'm
actually know
sticking
what
with.
happened. but-
That's what I'm
what
sticking
was
with.
the title?
Westerville, Ohio. It was where the DNC was having their debate at the exact time of them having their debate. We were live, so I feel like
I mean,
Yeah,
but we
well,
pulled that
probably
shit
it.
before.
we did.
you know.
Last June, we had an episode that was called something to the effect of U.S. North Korea Summit Live
Summit,
Coverage.
yeah.
That is the
Wow.
name of an episode. And so people were logging in and going, they're not talking about the summit. So
Just to
that
get the
is
views.
that's my theory. That's right. Yeah, fuck
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, come on,
whatever.
check it out. Marissa, what are you listening to? Are you a big podcast person as well?
I'm actually not as big as Anna is into podcasts, but I watch a lot of YouTube.
Oh, you like Mile
Yeah.
Higher podcast?
I like Mile Higher a lot. I listen to Stephanie Harlow a lot too. She's like a little lesser known.
Okay.
She does like pretty long YouTube videos.
There's a lot
My
of good
Favorite
content
Murder.
on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
There is.
Yeah, I just tend to gravitate towards YouTube more.
Yeah.
Yeah, the visual side of things definitely helps.
Yeah.
If you're driving
Not
or
so
you're
much.
like cleaning or working or like doing something and you
Yeah.
need to listen,
Yeah.
I love podcasts for that. But yeah, if I'm like just sitting there,
It's nice.
yeah,
Or just to put one on when I'm and listen to it is
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, because like Zach listens to like the Joe Rogan Experience, and I will
We
listen.
listen a lot.
I will listen to it when it's like somebody that I'm like, I will want to know everything that they said. Like when they had Bob Lazar, the guy who was the, oh my god,
I love Bob Lazar.
So when they had Bob Lazar on, I'm like listening to the
made
entire
me go
episode.
watch that whole movie with him.
Yeah.
Bob Lazar movies? Yeah, that's good.
But then
crazy.
after that, it's like the next person comes on, and I look and I go, yeah, I'll just watch the clips on YouTube. Like, I'll just watch the 8-minute videos.
Well, I spend a lot of time at work. I basically have 8 hours a day to listen to music. I mow lawns and do landscaping. So, like, in the middle of summer when I'm working, like, 12, 14-hour days, like, on the mower for 12 hours, it's like music only gets me so far.
You get bored.
Right.
Really
You know what I mean?
fast.
I think I've listened to every Joe Rogan in the last 7 months, on top of the 8 or 9 other weekly podcasts that I'm subscribed to. Just because there's just so much, like I just burn through everything.
See, I'm the worst with the podcast, man. I don't really listen to many podcasts.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah, I'm kind
I'm
of
on Twitch a lot.
It's like a solo thing. Like you
It's
can't.
just a lot of.
Yeah, you're not sitting
I
around
don't
with your
put a podcast
friends.
on
No,
with
no.
other people.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like working in kitchens. A lot of times, the podcast I just can't have on, or I can't have it on because I have to walk away. And the moment I walk away, I'm like,
Yep.
You
well,
lose
fuck.
it.
Now
lose
I'm going
track,
back and
yeah.
trying to keep up with it, and it's just.
I would
doesn't
say
work.
a podcast that has nothing to do with like true crime or anything like that that I've gotten really into. If
Dolphin Jizz.
Dolphin Jizz podcast with
Perfect.
Dolphin Lundgren.
Dolphin Lundgren.
There
Wait,
you
we
go.
were talking about that earlier, weren't we?
Yeah, something. I forget where it went. But we were talking about that.
What
We were
was
talking about
it?
Dolph Lundgren's jizz. Isn't that the conversation we
No,
were
it
having?
was Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren's role in Aquaman.
Yes. Oh, it's a good role.
It was a good
I
role.
like that movie.
If you haven't seen Aquaman, watch that movie.
It's
It's
fucking.
good.
It's like
It's
a
fucking
1980s action film with a bunch of really bad one-liners.
Dolph,
It's
I didn't
fucking-
know Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But one podcast that one style of podcast I've gravitated towards is I love anybody that's like been in like I grew up on stage acting, doing like plays and everything like that. So anybody that's involved in that industry, I like to listen to them talk about like their life and their experiences.
Sure.
And Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend is a new show that Conan O'Brien started doing about 6-7 months ago, and it's him just having heart-to-heart conversations with people that he's known as like a guest on his show, but never really like sat down and got to like really know. So he'll have like an hour-long conversation. He just had Letterman on, and it was phenomenal. But another one is Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. And Dax Shepard is probably one of the most overlooked comedic actors of the last 20 years because he makes generally quote-unquote bad movies.
Right.
But he was like in Without a Paddle. He remade Chips, and it's fucking hilarious, and anybody that hasn't seen it should definitely check it out. But I like listening to somebody like sit down and have like an in-depth conversation with somebody and not just be kind of an interview, sit here, read questions, sit here. Like I can watch fucking 60 Minutes if I really wanted to be that bored.
Yep.
But those two are the only ones that are outside the true crime, the paranormal, or the historical that I kind of go to. I really like the Stuff You Should Know, the guys that do.
Yeah, they're so good.
They're so smart. They're like, they make me mad at how much research they do, and I'm sure the episodes could be 12 hours long, and they have over a decade of episodes going on.
I listened to that when I used to drive. Well, now I walk to work, but I used to drive like almost 2 hours to work. So I listened to all the Stuff You Should Know, all the stuff they don't want you to know,
Stuff you missed in
Yeah.
history
stuff
class.
you missed in history,
Yeah.
stuff your mom, stuff your I forget what it is.
yeah.
It was like two girls.
Two
and
girls,
Stuff your mom
yep.
should tell. I don't know, but
Stuff your
they're
mom should
all
have told you,
so
something
good.
like that.
They're
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah. I think it's really fun. Podcast, just the whole craze is great because radio has kind of been dying.
Yeah.
But
Except, dude, I'm so addicted to Rover.
oh yeah, you do listen to that
So
all the time.
every single morning, Monday through Friday, I listen to Rover's Morning Glory, 100.7 WMMS Cleveland.
Yeah. You're like the only person I speak to that's just like,
me and Nate, me and my brother.
I
both
listen to this
just-
radio, this
I
actual radio
I know
station.
these people now. Like they're on, they're on 5 hours a
characters,
day,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
the people on this show are so fucking whacked out in their minds that it has like they're like my friends. But they do.
Yeah, we're all
I
pretty
can't
whacked
wait.
out of our
I
minds.
can't
so.
wait to like they get on they have a tour bus and they will come here and just hang out with people. They'll just go to a bar.
Yeah.
Or you can just go and hang out with them. But they are fucking crazy people.
Isn't that the dream? Just to go on a tour
go to a
bus, go
bar.
hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on tour bus.
Listeners.
And all they do is talk.
And talk.
And they talk shit
That's
about
all
each
we
other
do.
constantly.
That's all we went.
But
That's
but
so
they've got
nice.
enough people listening that they can afford a tour bus to
That's
go
awesome.
around and meet their fans.
That is the
Perfect.
dream.
That's the
Yeah.
dream.
So to kind of to wrap it up here, your dream is to be on a tour bus talking shit to people, and be able to quit your real jobs
Yep.
and follow this.
100%.
And everybody listening
Now,
at
to add-
home
add to that, do you
is
guys do
responsible
Patreon or
for
anything?
helping you
We
get
don't
that
have
goal.
Patreon or anything.
Yeah, we haven't
No.
set that
Not
up
yet.
either. It's kind of like on the next.
I
set
sort of want to
upgrades.
have us
Yeah.
like more prepared, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or more.
We always
formal.
are slowly upping the professional. Again, first
Mm-hmm.
2 seasons, no video on YouTube. Now we've got video on YouTube. And now we've got sweet transitions. Justin's learning all this cool shit. So we're slowly upgrading there. But yeah, everybody at home, go check out What Do We Know, the podcast. Again, available on Stitcher, on Spotify, and on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much, Anna and Marissa, for coming
thanks
down.
for being here.
It was very nice to meet you. You're also
Yeah.
the first guest that I have never met. Cliff is probably the first guest that I didn't really know, but I was just I know of Cliff.
Yeah,
and
I didn't
around
realize
Cliff.
that I knew Cliff until Cliff showed up. I was like, oh, what's up, dude? I haven't seen you in so
Yeah,
long.
exactly. So that was the closest. So it's awesome to have you ladies on and to join us. And we would love to do a crossover, maybe something in the
I was
future.
gonna say, you
Yeah.
gotta start thinking. We would love to have you on our show, but you need to start thinking of things that
We've
made
had-
you cry.
We've
Yes.
had guests on our
Alright.
podcast do their own true crime or topic
Yeah.
or whatever.
What
so.
do you guys know about birds aren't real?
So surprised it wasn't dolphin
Is
dick.
that a trick question?
It's an
Okay, so
organization.
Reagan murdered all of the birds and replaced them with surveillance drones
This is his real
that
theory.
are.
He has a
I got a
shirt.
fucking T-shirt
He
and
has a
sticker
shirt.
on my
Birds
Jeep.
are not real.
Just look it up.
Yeah.
No, you
Um,
look it up and you come on.
No,
our
I
podcast.
know all about it.
So then you just come on the
Okay,
podcast.
podcast.
I will
Oh,
come on and we'll
jeez.
talk about birds aren't real.
Oh,
just
jeez.
go to the birds aren't real subreddit and it'll just show you everything you
We
gotta
just
know.
want you to come on the show and tell us about
Yeah,
it. We
there
don't
you
even
go,
want to
dude.
look.
I don't
at
want
it.
to look it up. I want you to
No,
tell me.
fuck
about
it.
Okay.
It'll be a good episode.
All right.
All right, so we're looking forward to that. As
Perfect.
always, a big thank you to Mr. Justin Olampado
You're
for getting
welcome,
everything
dude.
put together.
Yeah,
And Mr. Zachary
Still fucking dolphins.
Storman. That might be the most honest nickname you've given yourself. A big, again, shout out to the ladies from But What Do We Know podcast. Cliff, who's been sitting in the room quietly.
Big
patiently.
shout out to Helen.
Big shout
Sorry
out
we
to
can't
Helen.
get to all your
Miranda,
questions.
Yeah.
Miranda said you
So
guys are
many
awesome
questions.
and sent you detective info on your Insta account.
Nice. MVP Miranda over there. Alrighty. A big shout out as well to our super producer EJ5000 at Moot.tv for putting everything out to you on iTunes, Stitcher, and our brother sister love podcast. Let me ask you a question. Go check out them. Anthony, Eric, and Greg. Always Anthony asks. Really, there's a bunch of guys I went to high school with. Anthony asks the weirdest questions ever. We call him Flipper, faster than lightning. Oh, baby, that's frightening. Under the sea. All right, so we check out. Let me ask you a question. Anthony just prepares a random question every week. Like the question that he asked at our lunch table in high school was if you could save your best friend's life because they were going to die right now, but you had to be full-fisted without lube in the ass every year for the rest of your life.
Every year.
Yes. Now you could do it on New Year's Eve and the New Year's Day and get almost 2 years without having get as much time without it.
Okay.
But that doesn't guarantee your friend won't die tomorrow of some other cause. So he asks questions along those lines and really test you. So go check them out. They're along with our Moot Monday drops every Monday on
Except for
iTunes
this
and
Monday.
Stitcher. Except for this Monday, we're both of us and Let Me Ask You a Question. We're not prepared.
Oh,
Halloween
man.
weekend party took everybody out, I
Yeah.
think. So we all forgot to release episodes. but it did get dropped on Monday. It was officially out on Monday.
Oh, it did go. Okay.
Yeah, just like real late Monday.
Right.
Real late Monday,
I'm
but it was still...
I'm good with it.
It was still there. So definitely check out those guys over there, and we will be off for the next 2 weeks. And then when we return, we'll hopefully have a nice lineup of guests, different
Christmas music.
featured music acts, and of course Christmas
time.
music.
That means
is
we're gonna hang out
happening.
with Mark.
Mark Miller's going to be on every episode.
We're gonna
or
drink
we hate
a
him.
lot of alcoholic eggnog.
So much eggnog. We got the cups from last year still, right?
Yeah.
I bought the Moose cups from Christmas Vacation, and we drank eggnog last year. It was a really good day on the toilet the next day. All right.
We drink like a fucking gallon of eggnog between 4 of us, and a whole bottle of whiskey or whatever.
Yeah, it was whiskey
rough.
or rum or something. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Drink your rum.
Drink your rum. All right, so we will be back in 3 weeks from tonight. So the next 2 weeks we will not be having episodes.
I mean, check out their podcast.
Yeah, check out their
For the next
podcast. They're
2
going to be
weeks.
releasing for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So check out the ladies. But what do we know? For Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up, I am Kyle. I'm Kyle Mocha.
Lyle.
I'm Lyle.
Lyle.
I'm Lyle Joka. Thank you so much for joining us here on Lyle Joka Won't Shut Up. We'll see you in 2 weeks. As always, here is our best song we've ever written to close us out.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Kelsey Grammer.
Fuck
Check out his ads. He's weird.
Fuck you.
Sad.
Fuck the fans.
He's a true crime thing you should talk to. Oh, jeez.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music for your own show. Who am I? Kelsey Grammer. If I